Good morning, everybody. You are tuned to Computers 2K now on the Nissan Communications Network. I'm Amnon, your host for the next couple of hours, along with Nick.
Good morning.
Good morning. And Steve is here.
Hello, everybody.
Good morning. Mike is got some plans, so he's not going to join us. And Spence is probably going to take another 2 or 3 weeks. Gal is out for Rosh Hashanah, translated New Year. It's the Jewish New Year.
Happy 2019. No? Okay.
No.
Close enough.
Our number is 919-518-9773. Computers 2K Voice on Skype. And today's show is made possible by vMix software, Telestream's Wirecast software, and is sponsored by Tom Sinclair of Live Streaming Gear. And Nick is sitting in Wilmington, North Carolina. What were we going to say?
I was going to say I wasn't here last week.
Yeah, you weren't. You weren't PAX.
Yeah.
And we'll let you talk about that. But you're in Wilmington, and doesn't look very good for the coast at this point.
It might not. That's very true. It's Hurricane Florence, who is make landfall somewhere between South Carolina and Virginia as a Category 4 hurricane. It's not looking good. It's looked better. It's not looking great though. It's still a couple days away, of course. We've seen this stuff happens.
Things can change, but it's not good any way you look at it.
Well, at this point in time, there is almost no chance of the storm not hitting some part of the land. I don't want to say zero, but it's practically zero. So somebody is going to experience a very, very serious storm with lots of rain and lots of
it looks like even in Raleigh, which is inland, we're still going to see.
Yeah, absolutely. Depending on the path that this thing takes, it could do more damage in some place like Raleigh. It could drop more rain in some place like Raleigh than it does here on the coast.
Right.
So, pretty anywhere from Florida to Maine should be prepared and ready to go. And people are. I was just at Walmart, woke up early and went to Walmart. And
some of the benefits that you have for living on the East Coast. Every now and then we get one of those visitors.
Yeah. So I went to Walmart this morning, and people are out and shopping and ready to go. Gene's asking if I've ever been through a hurricane before. No. But I've been through enough. I've been through snowstorms all my life. The preparation is the same. Got to have some food and some water, and you don't drive. But I'll of course be working, so we'll have to see how that all unfolds.
Yeah, the only thing is that would be different with a hurricane is if you are actually in the path, it's the devastation that you're getting out. If you made it through it in your apartment or in your house, and then you go outside and you see what's going outside, it's an eye opener. You start believing in a lot of things that you didn't before. But hopefully it will not be as bad as the other storms that we had here. But
well, I'll tell you what, I don't want to be the hype man, but
yeah, no,
this is one of the most ominous forecasts that the National Hurricane Center has put out in 20 some odd years. So it's
yeah.
somebody is going to get seriously affected by this. We're past that point. So all you can do is be prepared. And
yes.
Don't act like a jackass when it all comes down and try to do something stupid.
Right. And don't forget your bread and milk.
Now, see, I didn't buy any bread and milk at the store. There's plenty of bread. Didn't look for milk. I don't understand. Yeah, the whole bread and milk thing is so stupid.
I know.
Your power goes out, that milk is going to spoil in 24 hours. That's useless. I have bread. I don't know. I bought some crackers and some soups and
yeah, that's it.
Nips and some drinks. That's about it. That's all. I'm ready.
Yep.
So
that's what it's supposed to be around Thursday, right?
At the most recent track from the National Hurricane Center puts it on shore right about 2:00 Friday morning, which would be terrible. That would be high tide, which could cause the swell to be somewhat of 36 inches of water. With that, so yeah, that would be during high tide, I think.
I don't know why, but I don't seem to remember any hurricane that hit during the day. Here, they're all coming at night.
Well, it depends. The thing is the effects. The effects are all over the place. I mean, looking at the forecast right now, and if the track stays the way it's looking, we would have winds as early as 8:00 Wednesday night. That could be in the vicinity of 40, 50, 60 miles an hour. So. The effects are pretty long lasting. So I may or may not be here next Sunday. We'll find out.
No, you'll be here. You may not be able to join, but you'll.
Oh yeah, I mean on the show, of course.
Yeah.
All right. Follow me on Twitter if you want to. I'll be tweeting out, and if the storm does come bullseye on Wilmington, you can. Well, the Big Talker is going to have full wall-to-wall coverage. So if you're interested, you can find us on Facebook. We'll hopefully be live streaming, and you can listen to that. You can listen into our coverage if you're interested, of course.
You don't have a storm cam anymore, do you? You had a snow cam.
Yeah, I did. I could set something up at the. I don't really have a good vantage point. It's hard with It's hard with the
right.
Hurricane because or with rain in general you don't really see anything. It just rains. So yeah, just keep an eye out.
That's all you can do is be safe.
Yep. What are you gonna do?
I'm glad we don't suffer with that in England. I mean, we get a lot of hurricanes, but they're just tiny little things that are hardly measurable. But what you get over there is scary.
Well, Wilmington hasn't had a direct hit of a hurricane in 70 years. So, what
do you mean?
Wilmington
direct
by hurricane since the 50s. Been about 70 years.
Yeah. All right. So you went to PAX.
I did.
And you enjoyed your time at PAX.
I did. Yeah, it was a good time. They host a couple of PAXs a year. PAX is the Penny Arcade Expo. That's the name of the group that puts the event on. They've got an event in Boston that they do every year, an event in Seattle, an event in San Antonio, Texas, I think, an event in Australia, and then they've just introduced a new event in Philadelphia. So they do a couple of events every year, and they're mostly video game and some board game events. And we were fortunate enough to be able to travel out to Seattle, Washington, and go to the show for a couple of days and hang out in Seattle. And it was a lot of fun.
And you learned a lot about new games, and you did interviews.
Mm-hmm. Yep, did all that stuff. the interviews and stuff are up on YouTube. If you search for Infection Podcast, those are all up there. I think what else.
It was just fun all around.
Yeah, it was a really good time. We had a really good time.
Steve, what's happening on your side?
Not a lot, really. It's got a bit colder. The temperature's dropping in the evenings. Leaves are starting to fall from the trees. But it's still reasonable. It's still around about 20 degrees C, which is about
nice.
Around 70, just under. So it's not too bad. We've had a lot of rain in the middle of the country yesterday. There was a huge rainstorm going right the way through, but it didn't affect me here in the south.
Okay.
Otherwise, things are as normal. Theresa May has been out making speeches again about absolutely nothing, that she doesn't seem to know what she's talking about. But the fact that making speeches, which is really nice for her.
That bad, huh?
It's all up in the air about Brexit. Oh, it won't be a simple Brexit. We have to negotiate. Yeah, you're telling us stuff we know. Just don't stop making speeches about it and go and do it.
Just do it. Well, I've got
over with.
I've got a story here about the UK. Says in the UK, consumers are now more aware that they can buy the phone and the network access separately, and are increasingly doing so. Many were totally unaware of the true value of the plan, and this marks a real change. Unbundling, they call it, cracking the code. Only 36% of UK SIM-only customers expect to take a traditional bundle plus phone deal when their current plan ends, CCS found. And they note that this figure is considerably higher than the number of SIM-only customers today who will upgrade to another SIM-only deal, indicating strong growth for the SIM-only bit of the market. 1 in 12 phones in use is a second-hand phone. So far, you guys had to take a bundle from whoever you getting your phone from? Is that
that was norm? Yeah. If you wanted to go and say get the new iPhone, then you would buy the iPhone that was subsidized on a 18-month or 2-year contract, and then you would select the bundle of whatever it was, minutes, texts, data that you wanted. But now people can just go and get a SIM from another supplier, which is what I've just done. Because I've always looked for, I've rarely used the phone myself. So I buy a £10 voucher on pay as you go. And what that allows me to do is it allows me £10 worth of calls or texts. When it runs out, it runs out. I just go and buy another voucher for £10 and it lasts me for another few months. But what I've been looking for and has always been really annoyed at is that there's been no supplier that will allow you data as well. You can buy a monthly package for, say, £20, and that will give you so many megabytes or so many gigabytes of data, and maybe unlimited text and unlimited calls. But it runs out every 30 days. At the end of the month, it runs out, and you have to pay a monthly fee to keep it going.
Right.
Well, I'm again paying monthly fees for anything. So I like to buy a voucher up front. So I paid my money and then it lasts for however long it lasts. And that suits me great because I can get 6 months out of it, even longer sometimes. Well, I've just changed suppliers to what would be Walmart's company now in England, which is Asda. And they do a pay-as-you-go for phone calls, text, and data. This is the first time I've seen a supplier doing this, so I've switched over to it, and it's exactly the same as what I want. Well, exactly what I want. It's I pay up front for it, and it runs out when it runs out.
Everything keeps going until it runs out? I mean, phone, talk, text, and data?
Yeah, everything. I mean, you're allowed a certain amount of data. It's basically so much per phone call per minute,
Right.
so much
Oh.
text, and so for data. It is charged as you use it. So when you send a text, it's maybe 10 pence. When you make a phone call, it's maybe 10 pence a minute. When you've used so many megabytes of
Okay,
data,
I see.
it'll be 10 pence. So it just lasts for however long, whichever of it is remains. So when you've run out of the money, then you just go and buy another voucher for 10 or 20 pounds.
That's interesting. And how much is that voucher that you're paying for?
Well, you can get a £10 voucher, and it lasts for as long as whatever it is you've got left lasts, or you can buy £20, £30, whatever. I usually buy a £10 voucher, and for talk and texts only, it was lasting me months and months and months.
That's an interesting. I mean, we don't have that here. That's interesting.
It makes sense. I mean, why it's taken so long for a supplier to actually bring this up? Because you've got unlimited calls, unlimited data, and unlimited texts, and then you get the 5 gigabyte cap or 5 gigabytes use of data for a month, and then you pay, 10, 20 pounds, whatever that might be. But it's every month, and I don't want a monthly bill. I want to pay up front and then get what I get as and when it happens. Because at the moment with your phone, you can turn data off, mobile data. So obviously it's turned off when I'm here at home because I can use it on the Wi-Fi. But if I go out and I do need to do a price comparison or check for emails or something when I'm out, I just slide the mobile data on and it's on.
That is very interesting.
It suits me down to the ground.
It what?
Suits me down to the ground.
Okay.
So one of those idioms from England.
Ah, man, I get all these Southern idioms. Now I'm getting these English idioms. I mean, I'm having a hard time keeping up.
We've got loads of them.
Well,
that's interesting.
Yeah. I'm surprised that more people, because the stupid thing is I was with EE, which is owned by British Telecom, before, but they didn't do this data edition, if you like. But the company I'm with now, it still uses EE network.
Yeah.
But it's run as the mobile.
Yes.
So it's insane. I'm using the same service, the same towers.
It's the same here. I mean, the little companies use the big companies' network. Yeah.
It's just insane. Well, if another company can do it through your service, why can't you do it?
Why can't you? Absolutely.
Because I had to port the number and then wait a few days for it to actually transfer across. But that's all been done now, and I've got what I want. I've been waiting years, but I've got what I want.
Yeah. If you like Apple products, guess you can expect a lot of the stuff to go up. The article goes, Apple, the world's most valuable company, said that proposed U.S. tariffs on $200 billion worth of products imported from China will raise prices for some of its popular consumer goods, such as the Apple Watch and AirPods, headphones, the Mac Mini desktop computer, Apple Pencil, stylus, accessory, various chargers and adapters, and tooling equipment used to manufacture and design some products in the U.S. They say will also be affected is the Cupertino, California-based company that they notified the Office of U.S. Trade Representative. It's their way of saying, hey, don't put tariffs, but hey, gotta play it fair across the board, and I think Trump is.
Well, I read this morning, in fact, I think it was Engadget or one of the other news reporting sites, that Apple have been complaining bitterly about these tariffs. It's going to put the price up. I think they're just preempting people going, oh, it's not fair, it's gone up. It's not Apple's fault, it's the government's fault.
Well, they've moved their entire operation to China, so, I mean...
Well, that's right. And apparently this morning, over the weekend, it was reported that Trump had tweeted, well, build some manufacturing plants in the US then.
Bingo. Yep. I mean, Apple has literally moved almost all of their operation out to China now. Both Apple and Google are pretty much running out of China now, almost completely. So,
well,
I mean,
bring some of it back, and then you won't have the tariffs to pay.
Easy peasy.
There we go. We sorted that one out. What's next?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't know why it's so complicated. I mean, it doesn't seem very complicated. Make your stuff here, get the benefits. Source out to another country, don't. I mean,
the workers don't work for £2 an hour or $2 an hour. That's why.
I mean, it's like Apple doesn't already haven't make enough margin on their freaking phones. Damn iPhone is $1,200. What kind of margin you think they're making on that? That phone doesn't cost them more than $100 to build.
Don't get to be the richest company in the world by selling cheap products.
Yeah, well, I mean, doesn't have to be cheap, but it's not like they're, when you go and buy something at Walmart or Target, food product or something, box of cereal. I mean, what's the margin on a box of cereal? Not a whole lot. I mean, when they're selling a box of cereal for $3, how much could the margin be? When you're selling something for $1,200, you sure as hell can make a whole lot more on margin.
I don't think I've ever seen an iPhone user or an Apple equipment hardware user that had a bruised arm from somebody twisting the arm and saying you have to, you do. Yeah.
But they do. But they do because they've got everybody locked into the iMessage ecosystem.
Yeah, but there are ways around it.
There are not ways around it. There is no way around iMessage. If you want to use iMessage, you have to have an iPhone.
That's the key word. If you want to, and the company wants to, then you have to. Yeah, absolutely.
I have to continue to buy iPhones to use iMessage. Plain and simple. There's no other way around it.
All my classmates have one. I must have one too.
It's not even that. It's just group text messaging and the iMessage effects, being able to text on Wi-Fi. All that stuff goes away when you don't when you move over to Android. And I like having those things. Do I need them? No, but if I'm gonna spend $1,000 on an iPhone or $1,000 on an Android, so I'd rather get the Android.
You'll be okay. You'll be fine.
Amnon, can you buy me a new phone? I need a new. Speaking of iPhone, and Apple, we have some breaking news to report, Amnon.
Okay.
Alex Jones' iOS app has been banned from the App Store.
Yeah,
gone. He was banned from Twitter this week, meaning he is practically banned from the internet. His website, Infowars.com, is the only place I believe you can now go to get anything of his. He's just gone.
I really think that too much is being made out of banned from the internet. I mean, Twitter is not to be trusted. Facebook is not to be trusted, but I don't know that I would say that he's literally banned from the internet, because I always look at other companies. I mean, most of the companies that are operating in the business world don't rely on Twitter and Facebook. I mean,
I disagree. Every major brand, every major company in America that has any type of public presence or public face is on social media. Every single one of them.
They are on social media, but they don't rely on it for their business. If tomorrow they're going to be,
look, what if you tweet Time Warner Cable that you're having an issue with their internet,
right?
They're going to jump on support.
You
they're
see,
not going to ignore the tweet.
And
they're relying on that. They pay people to sit there. They have people that they pay, like they pay people to sit on the phones to sit there and talk to people on Twitter about support.
Right, but I can take it on another. I can put another twist on it.
Okay,
that they feel like they have to,
because they do.
Yeah. And if they get banned from Twitter, I think they'll breathe a sigh of relief. They cannot close their account because that will be, hey, what do you mean? You're hiding from us? But if they did, I'm talking, when I'm saying relying, I mean, if they are not on Twitter, they're not going to lose money because there'll be other ways to get in touch with them and people
possibly.
So that's what I'm saying. I don't know that Alex Jones is, I mean, yeah, it's different. With
his company is media. His company is producing internet media.
Right. It's a little bit different. But
I mean, he is literally banned from every major social network. And media platform at this point.
And all because they say that he's a conspiracy theorist.
Well, and the thing that gets me, we've talked about this in the past. He's been a conspiracy theorist for 25 years.
Right.
This man has not just exploded onto the scene. There's videos of him from the 1990s cutting pumpkins on public access, talking about black helicopters showing up to his house. I mean, he's nuts.
Yeah.
But he's been consistently nuts.
And it's entertaining.
Well, it's entertaining, but this is the thing that he keeps saying, and I agree with completely. They are using him as an example. They are trying to see if they can successfully erase somebody from the internet. And I'll tell you what, they've done a pretty damn good job. Because I don't have any way to get any news from him anymore. You have to go to his website now.
Well,
and I'm always on Twitter and Facebook, but I don't see any updates.
Now, when you, I mean, yeah, the app has been taken out. But if you have the app,
it's still there.
Where was the news coming from to the app?
Well, there's no news on the app. The app's his live streams and his podcasts, because his podcasts are banned from the iOS App Store.
Okay, so when you're talking about news, you're talking about what he was tweeting?
Well, I just mean his Twitter is pretty active. He tweets about, he just tweets about stuff.
Okay.
So now, I mean, it's funny. He used to have this marquee on the top of his website with all the little social media icons. There's only 2 left now. The RSS icon and his store icon. Everything, all the other ones are gone. Twitter, Facebook, Pinterest, YouTube, they're all gone. Instagram, gone. Pretty funny.
You were saying, Steve?
No, I clicked something on the computer. I must have made a noise. Sorry.
Oh.
Why is that coming through on there? It shouldn't be coming through.
Okay, that came from you. I was looking to see what happened here.
All right. You broke it, Amnon. Nice job.
Do that.
I'm hoping that he had millions of followers.
Yes. Tens of millions of views on YouTube.
Yep. And I am hoping that somehow there will be another service that, a new service could actually start growing from something like this because so many followers.
But they can't.
So I don't know. I'm hoping. I said I'm hoping.
They can't. Look at Gab. Gab can't grow because Apple and freaking Google do not allow it in the store.
Yeah.
It's the same damn thing. And I'm telling you what, man, Alex Jones or somebody else, the ACLJ, somebody has got to sue the living hell out of these companies. They are absolutely, they're antitrust. They're in violation of. This is ridiculous.
Yeah,
well, get away because you're violating the terms of service. Well, they write the terms of
service. They do write the terms of service, but at what point does something become public? And that's the argument that needs to be made. Is these social networks are now public forms of communication. There's got to be some type of control or regulation on this. This is absolutely ridiculous. And I can guarantee you this: if NPR or the Young Turks were getting banned on social media like this, you bet there'd be Democrats protesting through Washington D.C. that we need to take back the internet. Guarantee it. There's only one group of people that is being censored online around all this stuff politically, and it's not Antifa.
Yeah, which is a lot of violence there.
Which is literal violence, which is literally show up and punch, as they say, punch Nazis in the throat. That's what they do. They show up, they punch people, they burn things, they destroy college campuses like Berkeley, they topple silent Sam statues in Chapel Hill. I mean, it's one group of people. They're fine on social media. But God forbid you're talking about fluoride in the water turning things gay and you're banned from Twitter. I mean, that's what we're talking about here. I mean, it's insane. This is crazy. Well, you'll find you can hear. Aaron, you're stealing all my show content.
A what?
Stealing all my show content.
You'll have nothing to talk about later now.
I know. Not gonna have anything to talk about tonight. I'll just replay this segment. We'll be
good. We all know that the news at the weekend is really slow moving.
Well, when you do a once a week show, you got 6 days worth of news to pull from, so you're good to go.
Okay, Nick, let's go a different direction. File sharing, mega.nz. Did you ever use?
I did. That's
you did use it?
Kim.com's mega upload thing.
Oh. So the official Chrome extension for the mega.nz file sharing service has been compromised with malicious code that steals usernames and passwords, but also private keys for cryptocurrency accounts. This comes from ZDNet reports. So if you're using the mega.nz extension for Chrome, be aware. Let's see what else we can come up with. BitTorrent. I know you're into that too. So acknowledging that we are now very much in the streaming age, BitTorrent has launched the first version of Torrent Web. The aim of the browser-based tool is to make torrenting as simple as possible and, most importantly, support torrent streaming. It remains to be seen how many people are willing to switch from a dedicated app to a browser-based torrenting experience. But the promise that you can play while you download, no more staring at progress bar, is certainly alluring. Files are streaming near instantly as they download, but they are also saved locally in the way you're used to. uTorrent Web is available for Chrome, Firefox, Internet Explorer, Microsoft Edge, and Opera. And the release finds BitTorrent partnering with Adaware to check torrents for signs of malware and even download torrents without having to visit websites. Now, there's a warning here. The installer includes optional bundleware in the form of Adaware, Internet Security, and the Opera web browser. So if you are going for this and you're installing it, what that means is that there are 2 checkboxes or 1 checkbox that says install also this and this. So you need to uncheck it, just like Flash used to do, Adobe Reader used to do, or still doing. So it's not that they're putting malware in there, but they're adding junkware, crapware. But so what is the significance of this, really? I mean, I don't do torrent.
It just allows you to stream it rather than having to download it or partially and then stream it. It just allows you to stream instantly, as far as I understand it.
And that's a big deal?
Well, yeah, and it's done in the browser, so you don't actually have to have a download client like you used to before. So it just does it and streams it to your browser window.
Okay.
I haven't done torrenting for a long time, but the problem with torrenting is you may be downloading it, but you're also uploading it, and that's the biggest problem because you're then sharing it and making it available to others, which is a big naughty. So how the streaming works, whether you're still sharing out part of what you've got to others or not, I'm not sure. I haven't looked into the technicalities, but I'm assuming you are, because that's how torrents work, isn't it? By everyone sharing it.
How? So I know from the days I used to do that years ago, that when you do this, you also seed at the same time.
That's right. You're sharing out what you've already got.
So at this point, when you do it like this, so does your browser turns server at the same time when it can actually seed some of these, or is it the days of seeding are gone, which they can't be gone without, I mean, and continue having torrents?
The torrent wouldn't work without people seeding. So I don't know. I've not looked into the technicalities of it, but if it's streaming to you, then invariably you're going to have portions of it on your hard drive in order for it to play back and stream. Whether it's also sending them out or seeding that part of it at the same time or not, I don't know. I'd need to look into it, but I would imagine so. Otherwise, there's nobody seeding, is there?
Yeah, I mean, it's Oh, so Alan is saying one can turn off seeding in BitTorrent. Yeah.
You can, but if nobody seeds, then
right,
the whole thing falls apart. So
you have the original source where it's come from, and if everyone else turns their seed off, then everything is coming from one source, which slows it down to a slug's pace.
Yeah, if that source goes offline, the file now doesn't exist. Everybody, if your source you're getting it from only got 70% of the file, everybody's stuck at 70% till the original source comes back.
Right.
So.
Interesting.
I purchased another little ham radio here to do some testing with inside, and I can't program it. I think there's an issue with it. Cheap Chinese junk. Hook it up to the computer and try to run the software on it, and it says it updates, but I can't load any presets on it.
User error.
No, not user error. I've got the same radio. I've got another one, the one I've got in my car, which I've also got sitting here. It's the same radio, same brand. And that one works just fine.
And the other one,
I'm using the same profile. Yeah. I'm just saving the profile over.
It's probably that little switch in the back that says protect.
Well, I even opened this unit up and pulled the watch battery out to see if I could clear. I don't know I don't know if there was some memory that was being saved by that watch battery. And it's the same thing.
Did you buy it new?
Yeah, I bought a new. I mean, it was cheap. It was $60.
Yeah, but I mean, you bought a new, so you can return.
Yeah. Well, I guess I may have not pulled out the watch battery for long enough. How long would it have taken if the watch battery was keeping a little memory bank charged? How long would it be that before? How long would I have to have the watch battery out?
It all depends what kind of memory it is. If it's, what was it, EEPROM or something like that. I mean, it will continue.
Well, why would there be a watch battery inside?
Normally you would take the watch battery out and short the two terminals, the positive and negative.
You can try that. That's right.
Oh, so you think I should try that?
Yeah.
Short the positive and negative on the watch battery terminal.
On the watch battery?
No, not on the battery.
No, on the terminal, on the battery terminal. not the battery itself. Okay, well I'll do that while we're talking. Because it's a little upsetting that I can't get a Pro. Look at this. I'm not using my little Harbor Freight parts
Nick
tray.
discovered the Harbor Freight.
I didn't discover it. I just got some.
He discovered that he's got one in his city, so he's
DMA.
getting all those little goodies.
Wasting all my money.
Oh yeah,
Pittsburgh automotive stuff.
Gene is asking, what brand is that radio?
Gene, this is a Lexen. Leixen is the brand. I'll post a link in Amazon. I know the radios work because I've got another one right.
Everybody keep an eye on him if you see a little boom happening there.
If there's a large flash and a bang, we know what happened.
I've got another one right here. This is the one that's in my car. That works fine. Here's the new one.
And you can actually go to the other the one that's in the car. And
I brought it in here and I tested it and it works fine. Well, yeah, and I actually, it's funny enough, I'm using a mag mount antenna, and I was recommended online to mount it on top of my refrigerator, which is got a good magnetic field, and it works great. But I just can't get the damn radio to work. So I will I'll take it apart right now, see if I can get this fixed. I'll post a link in chat in a minute here.
All right. And was that a PlayStation 2 up there on the shelf somewhere?
I've got a PlayStation 2 behind me.
Oh.
You can't.
Well.
It's right there.
Sony has decided to end its repair service for the PlayStation 2.
I know. So sad.
More than 18 years after it first went on sale. So for 18 years, they were servicing them.
They were making games on this system up until like 2 years ago.
Wow.
PlayStation 2 is arguably one of the greatest game systems ever.
It says the best-selling gaming console ever produced was first released in Japan in March 2000.
Great, an amazing system.
Sony stopped manufacturing the device in 2012.
Which is crazy in itself. 12 years.
It was roughly
3 was already out.
6 years after the PlayStation 4 was released. They were still making the 2.
PS3.
It's interesting.
4 years after the PlayStation 3.
Now, Sony said it was no longer able to offer repairs because it was running out of replacement parts for the aging console. In a statement, the company thanked customers for their continued patronage. Gamers seeking repairs will now have to try their luck with unofficial services. More than 150 million PlayStation 2 consoles have been sold. 150 million. Sounds like an opportunity for somebody. See if they can get parts for it.
To do what?
Yeah. That's it, though. You won't be able to get the parts anymore. They're not manufacturing them.
No.
So if you've got a stock of parts, put it on eBay. You'll make a fortune.
I wouldn't. I'd start a repair business. Well, and here's these consoles are cheap enough that who knows?
Yep.
That's one thing I've never had. I had a Mega Drive back in the days, back in the 90s, but I've never had a games console. Well, that killed the conversation.
I'm sorry. I'm trying to short this damn.
Steve.
It's I can understand. I mean, there's thousands, hundreds of thousands of games. Hey, Gal, and I can understand why people get so involved in it and sit there for hours and hours playing. But for me, it's just boring.
Well, it all depends on what you're doing. The PlayStation's great. It has many of PlayStation 2 had an
Who that?
incredible amount of games. Oh. Sideways.
Gal is trying. Round and round and round we go, Gal.
I thought he was going to lie down and have a nap then.
Hello, everyone.
Hey. What's up?
All is good. All is good. I'm
Happy New Year.
not at home. Happy New Year. Shana Tova.
Shana Tova. Where are you?
I'm at the JCC in Durham.
Oh.
Where we have a Hebrew school here. Something I used to take part every Sunday until I started joining the show. But today it's a toast for Rosh Hashanah, so I'm here. So we just got here, and it's gonna be about 30 to 40 minutes until they're doing something. So I said I'll join in.
Oh,
well, you know what they say about computers 2K now? It's a religion. So.
Oh yeah. Now I have two religions battling it out. The better religion will win.
What do you want me to say?
That's it. So you're on your phone?
Yep.
Wow.
Anna, it looks better in your video.
That sounds great.
Well, apparently it can work.
I mean, I don't know. I'm impressed because I see guests on other shows that don't know how to use Skype or whatever on their computer and stuff, and they're coming in on the phone. It is not. It's not acceptable. I mean, this is perfect.
Well, God's a professional, and I don't know what. You seem a little confused here. God knows what he's doing.
Let's put it this way. I wish they would have plugged me, but this is a OnePlus 6, great headphones. Just the headphones, they cost like $200. I use them for work. So probably it's a combination of that, but I'm probably lucky because the cell coverage here is good. I tried the Wi-Fi, the free Wi-Fi they have here, and it's very slow. So
where's the mic?
Here.
Wow. Yeah.
The only thing I notice on mobile is that the bandwidth on the headset seems very low. It sounds like a phone call. I think that's probably just Google Plus on the phone. Actually, I know for a fact that's Google Plus on the phone.
Well, Bluetooth.
Maybe, but I'm on Bluetooth. It's just these headsets are fantastic.
Well, it sounds very good. As Nick was saying, very often I've heard with people on Bluetooth that the audio quality is telephonic. It's not rich quality at all, but you sound very good.
Yes.
Yeah. Well,
sounds great.
At least I know I have an option of I don't need to be at home.
Oh my God, this would be great. Amnon, let's get Gal a tour bus. And we can do the computers 2K now, 2K18 bussing around, and you can drive around North Carolina and help people with their computers. I think it's a great idea.
You know what? I'm starting to think of it. That's not a bad idea.
Oh, good. Well, Amnon will get you a bus.
I hope his wife is not around.
It'll be great. Everybody will have a great time.
What are you talking about? She'll be ecstatic by the fact that I'm out of the house early in the morning for 4 hours.
I wouldn't brag about that.
Besides, at this time, right now that the year started, so at this time she's going to be in the JCC anyway. So.
Oh. That is. So you're on.
What did I miss?
We're gonna get hit by a hurricane. Did you know that?
I heard about that.
Oh no!
I fell down. Yeah, that's the only thing I forgot to bring. Something to prop the phone properly, and I do have that. I just didn't bring it, so that's gonna be here next time.
Well, you didn't think that you were going to join because I said, you don't need to get the rabbi pissed.
Oh no!
I thought
there's no rabbis here.
Yeah, I thought it was actually Rosh Hashanah day. I wasn't aware that it was Rosh Hashanah Eve.
Yeah,
So
Rosh
that's
Hashanah
why.
Eve.
Yeah.
And this has nothing to do with rabbis or synagogue, or it has to do with the fact that we're Israelis. The Hebrew school here is by... sorry about this. The Hebrew school here is by... I have it. I knew I have it. The Hebrew school here is by Israeli parents to kids who either came here in a very early age or just want to keep Hebrew alive in their not only just speaking within the family, but also reading and writing, right?
Nice.
So
yeah.
the Israeli parents, they created this communal school. We call it, in Hebrew, it's Rishon Israeli. It means first in Hebrew, but it also means Sunday in Hebrew, in Israel, Israeli Sunday. So, and and it works. It works great. And
the equivalent of America First.
Well, we played on that a bit, of course. But because it's Sunday, and Sunday is Rishon, it's the first day of the week, so it also works there. Yeah. So it's
nice.
It works. I told you I prop it properly. See?
Yeah, we missed you last week. It was. Did you have fun?
It was okay.
Oh, come on, jeez.
I mean, I'm
a little positivity.
I always sound ungrateful, but I don't care too much for the beach.
What?
And the reason I sound ungrateful is because I literally lived on the beach up until 18 years old, right? My parents' home in Haifa was 30 feet from the beach.
Mm-hmm. So it's no big deal.
Yeah. So, and I always sound ungrateful, but that's the way it is. I don't like the ocean too much. No. I like watching it. I don't like being close to it. So it was okay. All right. I was still with the family, right? That's the important part, but I don't care for the beach too much.
All right, let's get back to tech here a little bit. So who's
that reset worked, by the way?
A what?
I think that reset worked, by the way.
It didn't work?
I think it did. I'm able to do some more stuff than I was able to. It's
okay. Good.
Doing something.
So who's the most valuable company in the world?
Elon Musk.
Apple is, huh?
Amazon is a $1 trillion company now as well, I was reading.
Amazon on Tuesday became the second U.S. company to reach $1 trillion in stock market value.
Ooh.
Just weeks after Apple hit the same milestone on August 2nd. Shares in the world's largest online retailer last traded up 1.4% at, get this, a share, $2,041.68. And then they hit the 2050. Unbelievable to give its stock value of $1 trillion. I mean, look, they're doing something right. I don't know what it is, but they're doing something right.
They're making their customers happy.
Well, a lot of them are not happy. I mean, I'm not happy.
You're not a customer.
Oh, yeah, that's true. I'm just a peon.
Well, you're not.
When it comes to them.
I mean,
no, I am. They're looking after the big fish.
I mean, in all joking aside, we complain about the iPhone and joke and all this other stuff. I'm a happy customer.
In general, you're right.
Yeah,
I mean,
I'm a happy customer, of course.
Yeah.
The phone works. Good battery life. Hasn't failed me. I mean, it works fine. Do I wish it was a little cheaper? Yes, but the phone itself is.
Yeah.
I mean, Apple's devices are rock solid. They're expensive as hell, but they're rock solid.
Not more than the competition.
No, you're right. Samsung's phones are just as expensive now. You're very, very true.
Well, I'm not only thinking about Samsung. Actually, I think Samsung phones are horrendous when it comes to their choice of UI and software, like what comes pre-baked with the phone.
Yes, the S Wizard or whatever.
Everything about the experience is uncomfortable, in my opinion, right? Mm-hmm. But the good thing about the Android ecosystem is you don't like it, you can fix it.
Stop playing with the phone.
What you want to do is put the phone down and then put your body inside.
It's fine.
I know you'll be uncomfortable.
I'll go away.
Don't you have something in the software? No, you can't. Not on the phone. Follow my face.
Probably there's probably an app for that.
Yeah.
It doesn't work when the phone's falling down though.
Chewing gum, that's what you need.
So listen to this. This is also interesting. West Virginia's Attorney General, Patrick Morrisey, who's currently running for U.S. Senate, announced Tuesday that he's partnering with 2 local community and technical colleges to connect senior citizens with college students for free cybersecurity training. I mean, this is such a great idea. The announcement comes amid rising cyber scams, many of which are targeted at the elderly. This is great. I mean, they're always trying to find students in colleges, sort of like a, what do you call it when you go and you work for nothing?
An apprenticeship.
Yeah. And this is great. You go and you do something, and hopefully they're talking about people that can't get out and they're sitting at home. And so you get somebody to visit them and show them what not to do, what to do. I think that's a great idea. And I hopefully somebody will do it here too.
You could do it.
Yeah. I can.
I mean, serious. Why could you not?
I can cover 2.5 people a week. Yeah. I mean, you're talking about a college that has hundreds of students, and then they send them out to the community.
I'm sorry. I misunderstood. I misunderstood the story. I apologize.
Yeah, the students are going out to senior centers or senior citizens' home or whatever, and teach the elderly about cybersecurity and what not to do and what to watch out. That's
great. What you should do is I got a great idea.
Yeah,
you should partner up with a local community college, right? And tell them to watch Computers 2K now.
Okay,
do it.
Handle it.
I'll get right on it. Hello?
919-518-9773, Computers 2K voice on Skype.
I've got some it is tech news. It's but it's more aesthetics than anything else. The newest version of Chrome, update 69, has literally gotten rid of URLs.
Yep. They're not getting rid. They didn't get rid of URL. They got rid of the www on the way to get rid of.
On the way to get rid of URLs. Yeah. I mean, for all intents and purposes, they've gotten rid of URLs.
Yeah, and why take out the www? I mean, it I don't know.
And the new UI looks weird. It's circular. Everything is circular. It's odd. I'm not really sure what their plan was, but it looks stupid. So, get on you, Google.
There was something about. Was it about Chrome or Firefox? Something about the. Oh yeah, it's Chrome69. There was a complaint about fuzzy fonts. It says countless of users have gone on social media and Google product forums to complain about blurry or fuzzy text inside Chrome. The blurred
before.
What?
I said I've had this before. Very weird.
Yeah, the blurred font issue isn't.
You put glasses, no?
A what?
You put glasses to solve this, huh?
It's isn't only limited to text rendered inside a web page, user said, but also for the text suggestions displayed inside the address bar search dropdown. The issue only manifests for Chrome69 users on Windows. Those who rolled back to Chrome68 stopped having problems. They're saying that changing Chrome operating system or screen DPI settings didn't help. So Chrome says that their team is investigating reports of this behavior, and they tell you where to go look for it. But some user also expressed concern over Chrome not showing trivial subdomains, including www, but this is was pushed down. But this is really more important because they'll fix it. If it's blurry and it's fuzzy, they'll fix it. You know they will.
But this sounds like I used to have this issue on my work computer.
Yeah.
Work laptop with Office. Just Outlook would look blurry as hell.
Yep.
And this was a DPI issue. But changing the DPI didn't solve it unless you change the DPI and you reboot. So sounds like it's a Microsoft thing, right? Because Microsoft out of the box today with Windows 10, it tries to be smart about how it displays the fonts. And by adding logic there, right, there's always a point of failure, a new point of failure. So I think that's what it is.
You know what used to solve it for me, Gal, is setting the DPI, then unplugging the monitor from HDMI and replugging it back in, and that causes Windows to reshift the screen. And it still does that from time to time on Windows 10 with Office, only with Office products. Outlook and Word. Fuzzy, it looks weird. And you just
remember in Windows 10 they have what they call clear text. And you have a wizard to tweak that. So that also might be the issues. They might be using some clear text fonts or something like that. It's all about trying to be extra smart, but it's a new point of failure. So there's bugs, there's issues,
I mean, it's funny that you're talking about Office 365. Because this week there was also a problem with Skype and Office 365 and Outlook. People were saying that we're having connectivity issues on Wednesday. Users were seeing a throttled error message when attempting to access either of the aforementioned services. You said you saw
Wednesday.
that? Yeah, my email was down.
Your email is down.
My email was down. It was Wednesday. It was Office 365.
For how long?
It worked on my phone. It was on and off. I want to say it was maybe an hour total because in Outlook on Windows 10, the icon in the task tray will change and it'll add a little caution symbol when it can't connect to the server. And I saw for about an hour it was flickering on and off. I was still getting email on my phone. It was just on the desktop. And Office.com was down.
Interesting.
Yeah, I saw that. I didn't know that story happened, though. That's interesting. I'm glad it wasn't just I thought it was just the internet at the office.
So Microsoft brought down their own services by Patch Tuesday? You said it's Wednesday. Wednesday, that means after rebooting after Patch Tuesday.
Yeah. After they missed Patch Tuesday, they push it out on Wednesday. Yeah.
Yeah. Well.
Good on them. Glad I'm paying $15 a user a month to have access.
Yeah.
It's outrageous. I wish Google made a better enterprise software. Google Apps for Business just isn't powerful enough. It's just some creature comforts of Sheets doesn't work as good as Excel. I mean, there's just things that just
I don't
aren't.
think it doesn't work. Actually, I think it works even better because it has the connectivity thing built in, baked in, and it has a lot of plugins that you can use. But it's a matter of comfort because everybody is so used to how Excel works.
Yep.
And once you need to deal with something that works a bit differently, not necessarily less well, it's just different, right? Then everybody says, no, this is crap. No,
Well,
it's just a bit different. That's all.
I'm not saying it's crap, but I just, you know, there's something nice about opening up the program on your computer and being able to use it.
Again, I think it's a matter of comfort. It's a matter of,
especially when you're working in an office with non-tech people, they need that comfort, or they're asking you constantly how the hell to do something in Google Sheets, and it's, you know, as the person that's in charge of those IT decisions where I am, it's, you know, I don't have time to sit there every day and answer people's questions about how do I do this thing in Google Doc.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but look at this. Look at it in a different way, right? They are okay with Word and Excel because they've seen it for the past 10, 15 years.
Yeah.
Since they left college or whatever, right? Because it has become ubiquitous. Wake Tech students, high school students, they use Google Apps, right? So Google Apps isn't that foreign for them. And if they'll get into an environment where they need to work with it, it'll be okay. It'll be natural.
Yeah.
So it's all about the learning curve. And I think Google has done a pretty good job in providing the basic functionality to be as close as possible to what they already know. Once you get the added values of this connected world, this connected environment that they created, I think that that changes the perception that it's no longer this pesky program I need to learn how to work with, but it's something new that's doing something better than the other. So in some areas it's working better, in some areas it's not, or it doesn't do whatever Word piled up on the list of features in the past 20 years, right? And Google has decided to wait and see if they need it or not. So Google is still the new kid on the block when it comes to the Office suite, but they're a pretty good alternative. I would venture and say they're probably a better alternative than Libre or OpenOffice, because with Libre and OpenOffice, you still need the IT know-how of installing software and updating and getting that right. And with Google, you don't have that. You just use it. There's no installation. Everything works once you open the browser. So it's definitely the way it should go forward.
Okay.
It's funny, but we're almost coming full circle to mainframe time, right? When the browser is just a terminal, right, that loads whatever we need and allows us to do the work, but everything is running in the background somewhere.
I mean, are we done talking about that? I mean, I don't know. I mean, I don't want to stop you. But Mozilla Wednesday released Firefox 6.2 for Windows. I mean, for Windows, Mac, Linux, and Android.
Yeah.
The release builds on Firefox Quantum, which the company calls by far the biggest update since Firefox 1.0 in 2004. Version 62 brings available fonts, automatic dark theme on Mac OS, and better scrolling on Android. Firefox 6.2 for the desktop is available for download now on Firefox.com, and all existing users should be able to upgrade to it automatically. As always, the Android version is trickling out slowly on Google Play. I don't understand what that means, that it's trickling out slowly. I mean, either it's there or it's not there, but half of it is there. The latest iOS version is available on the Apple App Store. So it's out there. I use it per Gal's recommendation. I started using it some months ago, and it looks fine. It looks okay. Well, why are you shaking your head?
No, yeah, I agree. It's still the best browser on the desktop right now.
And I didn't know that the Tor browser, TOR, is actually based on Firefox.
It's Firefox based, baked with the Tor client and the Tor proxy server and the extensions that are required. Yeah.
That's it says a lot about it. And if they're using it, it says a lot.
Yeah.
Yup.
Anybody here watching Better Call Saul, the TV series?
Which one?
No, I watched the first couple seasons.
Anyway, in this, I know it's. I'll give a spoiler alert. Mute your radio for 15 seconds if that's important. So one of the things he does there in this current season is he's selling cell phones. This is like 90s, right? And he's looking for an angle because nobody's stepping into the shop. It's like in a godforsaken place.
Mhm.
And he decides to use paranoia and sell privacy instead. So he sells burner phones, right? Cell phones that are rather cheap. You can, and you replace them once you're done. You buy another one, right? Mozilla is that peddler right now. Mozilla is the one trying to educate everyone that a lot of things on the internet are not private, right? Even though you have the feeling that they are. Even when you go to your bank, at least someone knows that you went to the bank, even if they can't see what you're doing in the bank.
Right.
And stuff like that, right? The importance of metadata and all that. So Firefox are the ones providing the tools right now. Mozilla are the ones who are providing most of the tools for privacy for the common people, right? So it's I found the analogy nice. That's all. It's like that cell phone peddler that's trying to tell you, look, everybody's listening on your phone, on your calls. At least make sure that they can't, trace the endpoint to you. And they're doing it very well. They're doing it very well on the mobile platform with Firefox Focus, which is their slimmed down version of the browser. So it's a nice shift, I think, in the discussion about browsers. It's no longer only about the features. It's also about, is it keeping you safe or not?
Mm-hmm. It always pays. It always pays to educate the users to it and show them how to be more secure and more safe. People like that because of all the problems that we have.
Mm-hmm.
So we were complaining about Skype, the new Skype. Microsoft just announced a number of changes the company is rolling out to restore Skype's simplicity and familiarity.
Really?
Well, I didn't see anything. When the company introduced the modern Skype, it introduced radical changes that turned the app into an actual modern app. But of course, that didn't really work too well with some of Skype's classic users. Although Microsoft has made numerous changes to the modern Skype to work better for all users, there were still a bunch of things in the app that no one really needed. And one of that was highlights, for instance. It was a complete clone of Snapchat where you could post pictures, videos that last for a limited time.
Called a story.
The what?
It's called a story on Snapchat.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
That's your Snapchat story.
Unlike other Snapchat clones, like Instagram stories, no one actually used Skype highlights. The navigation has been drastically improved, now only consisting of chats, calls, and contacts. The three core parts of Skype, along with highlights. Microsoft also removed the capture button, which opened the Skype camera, another useless feature that was already accessible from within chats. I never use these things, so I don't know what they do, but I still have, it's still a bad design there with the main core things not working the way that they should. You don't want to see the whole screen. You want to see just a list of the contacts like I'm seeing in the old one. You want to be able to change the tone when it rings in. You want to be able to adjust the volume of it. There's a lot of things that they kind of took away, which made no sense.
Well, again, this is all of them trying to make the mobile, and I don't blame them for this. They're trying to make the mobile and the desktop version the same.
Right.
They're trying to.
We did talk about the fact that a couple of weeks ago they said that they are not going to force people to go into it on September 1st, and they're going to keep on. People can still using the Skype 7. This morning, when I started the computer's 2K voice, it always, every time I started, it says, there's an update.
Every time I reboot my computer, mine
and you can click, not now, right?
Yeah.
Well, this morning when I started it, I was doing something else, and then I'm looking there, and it says downloading. I did not click anything. It said downloading, so I clicked cancel. I don't know if they're forcing it now.
Here's the thing, though. They're going to push to this version.
Yeah.
So the best thing you can do is get used to it.
Well, the thing is, and
I'm not saying in your case. I know that computer needs to have that ringtone.
Yeah, because otherwise,
but you're going to lose that anyway. So my point is, the point is if the new version works, you just don't like how it looks, just use it.
Correct.
I hate how it looks, but I'm using it because
on my machine, I use it, but and on the monitor machine, the one that I use, my laptop here, I use it, but on the streaming and on the 2K voice, I don't want to use it just because of the ringtone.
Yeah, which is going to be a problem.
Hopefully they'll bring it back. I don't know. I hope. I don't know. It makes no sense to have.
Use it at the radio station too. I've got all the old versions there,
and
because I need this set. I need some of those features. Same thing. I need a silent ringer.
Yeah, right.
So I've got but at home and on my laptop and on my personal computer at work, I'm using the updated version.
Yeah, it's just amazing.
No, they're trying.
I hope they're trying.
Well, they are. They're in a tough spot. Nobody's using Skype anymore. Discord has taken a lot of the Skype group activity away, especially in gaming. Everybody in gaming is using Discord.
Yeah,
they're not using Skype anymore. Kids aren't using Skype. They're using Snapchat and Instagram. Microsoft's trying to put Skype back. The people that are using it are freaking podcasters. That's not a big enough market. They need to get this into the mainstream again. So
true.
what
And this is why Zoom.us is to me, that's a replacement if this doesn't straighten out.
But see, Zoom is meant for business, and they make themselves pretty clear that they're meant for business. That's their niche. Skype is trying to be a
fun,
a hip a social network. They're trying to be a social network. They're trying to compete with social networks, and to do that, you've got to have a modern UI, and you've got to have emojis, and you've got to have stickers, and you've got to have stories and things that all these other social networks have. It's not going to work, but they have to have
it. It may work for them. I don't know.
It won't. Nobody. I mean, it's not. Nobody wants to use Skype.
I think a lot more people are going to drop out and go to other, and then they'll end up buying Snapchat or.
Well, Microsoft isn't going to buy Snapchat. That ain't going to happen. But everybody's using Discord, man. I'll tell you, Discord's been the one that's put the nail in the coffin on Skype and TeamSpeak and Mumble and all these other services.
Yeah. Years ago, computer programming was the biggest thing. I mean, every parent got their kids to go into it, and then it became saturated that they couldn't get a job. Well, listen to this article here now that's coming out. As our global economy increasingly comes to run on technology-enabled rails, and every company becomes a tech company, demand for high-quality software engineers is at an all-time high. A recent study from Stripe and Harris Poll found that 61% of C-suite executives believe access to developer talent is a threat to the success of their business. Perhaps more surprisingly, as we mark a decade after the financial crisis, this threat was even ranked above capital constraints. And yet, despite being many corporations' most precious resource, developer talents are all too often squandered. Collectively, companies today lose upward of $300 billion a year paying down technical debt as developers pour time into maintaining legacy systems or dealing with the ramification of bad software. When deployed correctly, developers can be economic multipliers, coefficients, and dramatically ratchet up the output of the team and companies of which they are a part of. So they're saying that the developers are more important than money. They're ranked higher than money. That kind of tells you if your kid is a good programmer, yeah, let him go into that to learn how to develop things, and they'll probably get a better job. Nobody spoke here in this poll about the pay that they're getting, and I've got the feeling that it's not way up there. But it's a positive thing.
Well, I think in tech companies, programmers, they get the best pay on entry. So any entry level job, programmers would be probably the highest paid one on entry. I don't know how it goes further in, right? When you're looking at management and you're looking at C-level people, I don't think the engineers are the best paid one. But as far as I know, in the tech companies, the engineers, the software engineers, maybe the only ones who get paid higher are hardware engineers, because those are Those are scarcer. Those are harder to train and harder to find the quality ones. So yeah, I never heard about. I don't remember reading that software was ever saturated. I mean,
it used to be. No. What happened is everybody was sending their kid to college to go for computer science, and there were so many people, and especially after the 80s when the 90s where the bubble burst, and there were so many people that were laid off that to get a job in tech was really, I mean, a big. It's like hitting your head against a wall. That's what happened. There were, I mean, if today you said,
I get what you're saying. Yeah. Okay.
I mean, that's here. I don't think what they mean is anybody who can develop is going to be able to get a good job. No, they're still looking for good developers, good programmers.
Exactly.
People that have sense. So
not only that, programming has evolved tremendously. Like the programmers today do not think the same way as the programmers in the 80s or even the 90s. So programming in itself changed a lot. The stuff that I've learned and worked with, and the stuff that I'm doing today, which isn't programming, I'm doing some scripting and stuff that I need to. The amount of effort that I put into finding a solution is minuscule to the amount of effort that I needed to put in 10 years ago for the same problem, right? Because the tools around are so elaborate, so complex, but then again, they're complex in the way they solve the things, but they are very easy to use. And so doing complex things, the ones I needed to write my own code, my own program of, I don't know, thousands and thousands of lines. Today, I write 5 lines in some scripting language, and it does everything for me. And it does it even better than I thought I would get, right? It gives me the results in such a clear way. So and the web has changed. I earlier said we're going full circle into mainframe era. That's not exactly the case, because instead of this dumb terminal at the end, you have the browser. You have an OS running a browser. You have something so complex that runs logic locally and you have some stuff in the server side running logic in the background. The split of the work from the what runs centrally on very complex distributions of pieces of software. It is never a single application anymore. It is always a complex set of services. So not only designing this complex set of services, because they were always there, even in the 70s, they were a complex set of services, but it was really, really, really hard just to deploy them, make them available. Just to hook up a new terminal would mean to install new hardware at the center, run lines, do stuff that today the developer, the company producing the solution, right? They write one line of code, and it already deploys a new instance that can handle another 1,000 connections and be synchronized with all the data that all the other instances already run. The complexity has grown exponentially, but the simplicity has become make it a lot more approachable.
Well, I know I'm not a programmer, at all. And I see what Nick does. Nick is great with all these scripting to automate things, and it's unbelievable what he's doing with that.
But I'm not a programmer, and I actually don't enjoy programming at all.
Yeah, but you have the head for it.
No,
you
I
have
actually
a knack
don't.
for it. I mean, come on.
I absolutely don't. No, I find all my information. I'm being dead serious. I find all my information on Stack Overflow. I'm just like everybody else.
Yeah, well, that's
like every other software, programmer.
I mean, I'm being dead serious. I don't enjoy programming at all. When I need to, I'm tasked with doing something that I have Sean help me out. Sean's Amnon. Sean's the one.
Yeah, he's a good programmer. Yeah,
Sean is an incredible programmer. If I can't find it on Stack Overflow, I have to have somebody do it. I just don't enjoy.
Yeah, but I'm talking about what you
program. Yes, I don't like to.
You accomplish things that are really impressive with automating for the radio station, for your podcast, things that are just like working, and it's amazing to see that, and I'm sure that the station loves it.
Somebody disconnected.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. This is Gene.
Hey, Gene. Gene, you need to lower your speaker.
Okay, how's that now?
Sounds okay. What's up?
How is it now?
It's okay.
Okay. Just to give you an idea how far we've come in terms of programming, relative to simplicity and complexity and that type of thing. I programmed when I came out of the service in 1959. I went to IBM programming school and learned how to program the first scientific computer ever built. It was a tube machine called the 704. The programming language that we had to write in was called SAP. And what you did is you wrote everything in machine language because there were no higher level languages. I think the first higher level one that ever came into being when I was doing that back in those days was Fortran. That was it, but there was no macros or anything like that. So you had to write every single instruction out, and we wrote it out and took it to the key punch room, and they punched binary cards. These are cards that either had a punch for a 1 or a blank for a 0. And that binary deck, after it was made, you took it into the computer and you ran it to see if it would run okay. And inevitably, we have bugs because to do a simple thing took 7,500 to 8,000 instructions. And when the bug came out, they'd run you a dump so that you could debug it. And the dump came out in octal. And we would sit there and convert octal to decimal to find out where our error was. And we took that binary deck, and if there was an error where you had a 1 and you needed a 0, we had these little hand punches. And we used to punch the 0 by hand because computer time was so you couldn't go back into the key punch room because you had to wait online and that type of thing. So we punched that bit. If we had a 1 where we wanted a 0, we would go back into the bit tray where the punches were, and we take one of those bits and we plug the deck. We patch it. We call that was a patch deck. And after you debug this for hours and hours and hours like that, you thought I had it right, you get back online and go into the computer. Once it ran okay, you were almost afraid to touch it and leave that deck alone patched like that. And we probably sent men to the moon with patched decks. I don't know. It really was crazy. And to do the simplest thing, let's just talk about sorting. The 704 had 16K memory. All right. So where was your storage? Well, you remember it was all those tape drives out there. Right? You remember all those tape drives that you're seeing out there in these rooms? Okay. So what you would do is if you wanted to sort a field, you would start in a high order, and you would sort the high order and drop it out on disc number 1, on tape number 1. Go in 2, go in 3, go in 4. When you go all the way down to the end, then you would merge all those. So to do a simple thing like you can do with one little push today took almost 2 hours on a computer. That's how far we've come, guys.
Yeah, the internet. It's pretty amazing.
No, that was really programming. I'll tell you the truth. They ran all our stuff at night. You know, that when you had a program at night, so we would take these Octo programs home with us and keep by our bedside, because if it stopped, the computer room would call you up and ask you what to do, and you'd have to go back out there and tell them, well, transfer this to that, or do this, or punch this, or that. So you went to bed with your Octo listing in those days.
It's bizarre. Yeah. It's a generation of programming that will never exist again, I don't think. I mean,
okay,
no, that way of programming. Yeah.
No, but see, Gene, the important thing there is the troubleshooting. That's a big problem today. I deal with this with we've got some college interns that do some work, and there's just no idea how to troubleshoot. Troubleshooting is totally right. I mean, what Gene just described with troubleshooting was going through every single line and going through each bit and figuring out where his error was. That's a lost science, troubleshooting.
Actually, it's not. I mean, I'm technical support, so it's not a lost science, but I think it doesn't get the credit that it needs to. Right? I chose support as a career, and even though I started as a programmer, and the reason I chose support as a career is because there's a lot of programming working as a programmer that has very little appeal to me. It doesn't work out for me. I don't like being part of a project with a lot of people where my side of the work can be dismissed easily, and my opinion doesn't matter, and I just need to produce. And in support, you get to know the entire system, because otherwise you cannot figure out what's wrong, right? And you need to develop the ability of zooming in and zooming out to find the issue, right? And what we do when we hire people is we look for the people who have that way of thinking. They have the ability of, you're stuck on an issue. The first thing you need to learn is how to stop looking only at the problem and start understanding how everything works and where this fits, and then finding the point of failure. So yeah, it is something that unfortunately it's probably not taught properly. Not taught properly, but at least not at the college level. I haven't learned it in college, so I can't.
But God, and this is something I deal with too. I'm the tech guy. I'm responsible. I'm the tech guy. I'm responsible for the tech stuff. Yeah. Troubleshooting something. I am of the opinion that troubleshooting something you either can do or can't do. You either have the mind and the way of thinking about troubleshooting, or you don't. And I deal with this problem a lot where I'm asked to show somebody how to do something and then how to troubleshoot it. And it's not that easy. It's not math where you can say, well, 1 + 1 = 2. I don't think that's troubleshooting. I think you have to have, it's the way your brain is wired and the way that you deal with things. That's troubleshooting.
I agree.
And you can't be taught to everybody.
Nick, yeah, this is Gene again.
Hey, Gene.
I think you're absolutely right in that respect. I can recall when, they gave me a dump and I had problems and I had to go desk debug it. What you would do is you'd find yourself a comfortable spot, and even take them home and go outside, and sit somewhere under a tree or something like that. And you would actually become the computer. You would actually go bit by bit, instruction by instruction, just acting just as the computer would, to find where, I need a transfer there, or I need this, or I need that. So your mind was almost a computer when you were doing that for hours.
Gene, I'll give you a great example. We've got this hurricane that's coming towards here. I spent probably 2 hours on Friday staring at a whiteboard in my office, just staring at it, writing little things down, just writing, just drawing little pieces of the puzzle, drawing out different chains for different scenarios. There is a certain kind of person that can, as you said, become the computer, become the system. And I don't think it's something that can be taught. You either can or can't do it. In my opinion, I could be wrong, and I'm sure with enough.
No,
time
there's
and enough training,
there's an efficient way of debugging and finding problems, and an inefficient way,
Well,
and then you still need to know how to do it. I mean,
well, in troubleshooting, efficiency is important, but so is time.
Yeah.
I mean,
right.
I work in the people that don't know, I work in the radio field, and being able to troubleshoot something quickly is very important.
Gal has to leave.
Oh, okay.
So, Gal, Shana Tova, say Shana Tova to everybody there, and we'll see you next week.
Thank you all. Bye-bye.
Have a good one.
Yeah, Gal, be safe.
I'm going off the phone. I'm going off the phone and back to the computer.
All righty, Jane. Talk to you later. Thanks for the call.
Thanks for calling in, Gene.
Yeah, I'm really glad Gene called in with that. That is something I struggle with constantly at work.
Yeah, I mean, it is
technical mind is something that I just it can't be taught to everybody. You just have to know.
I mean, imagine that somebody writes a program and submits it and say, "Oh, there's a problem there," and it takes 2 days to figure out what was wrong. If they did have a knack to troubleshoot, oh yeah, there it is, and that's that is a big part of being a programmer.
And as Gene said, when you find a comfortable place and become the system, go line by line. That's exactly what I did on Friday. I became the system. I said, how do I get audio from point A to point B if this, and this all fail? That's what I did. I stood in my office for 2 hours, just literally at points, just staring at the whiteboard with nothing on it, just staring at it, trying to figuring out the system. And that's just, I think that's a certain brain or certain way of thinking about it, certain way of troubleshoot, certain way of problem solving. That's what it is. A certain way of problem solving.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think it can be taught, which is a tough problem when you're the tech guy and you're asked to teach non-technical people how to deal with technical issues. How do you train something? How can that's tough.
Yeah, it is. Absolutely.
I mean, God bless Gal working in support. I mean, that's
but he's got the knack for it. So,
well, that's the thing. He's a good teacher, and that's why he's so good on the show, because he's got the voice of a teacher, but the patience of somebody to teach. Amnon knows me well enough. I don't have those. I don't have patience like that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not for me.
No.
That's very interesting. That's cool. I like that. That's a good conversation.
You're on LinkedIn, right?
Yeah.
Well, the United States top spy catcher said the Chinese espionage agencies are using fake LinkedIn accounts to try and recruit Americans with access to government and commercial secrets.
Well,
and the company should shut them down. So, I mean, just be aware. I mean, there's all these bots and things that are adding people to your account. I want to be added to your network. Be a little bit more cautious who you're adding and why you're adding. I mean, I always, when I had it, before I canceled it, I would click on it, go to the page, see what they're doing. I said, what does that have to do with me? Why does he want me to add it? And I wouldn't add everybody. So yeah, be aware if you're LinkedIn. And MSpy, the makers of a software as a service product that claims to help more than 1 million paying customers spy on the mobile devices of their kids and partners, has leaked millions of sensitive records online, including password, call logs, text messages, contacts, notes, and location data secretly collected from phones. So if you're running the MSpy software, your information could have been leaked out there. It's It's just amazing how these things are, more and more breaches like that. Hey, Steve, what did they end up doing about the British Airways breach leak?
I see anything about it. I saw that there was a leak from British Airways, but I didn't see any follow-up story.
Okay. And back to Google. Google will restrict advertisements placed by third-party technical support providers in an effort to stem a rising tide of abuse and fraud by scammers who offer to fix non-existent problems on consumers' computers. So they're finally doing something about that. They are not allowing Alex Jones, but finally getting around to do this, which has been happening for years. I mean, it's okay, but too little, too late. How many people got hurt? I guess some people would be able to say better late than never. True. All right. So we're coming to the end of the show. Anything? Oh, Nick is on the phone. I had a very interesting situation this past Friday with switching credit card processors, and didn't go. I wanted to do it live right away when I'm doing the billing. It didn't go as I expected, but hopefully we'll be able to fix it. It's amazing how things change. I mean, I've been with my bank for years processing for a company, and you're sort of like getting used to it. And you switch, trying to save money, and you see that the little companies are actually more concerned with customers' information and customers' credit cards than the big ones. Never had a problem with processing the monthly credit card charges from here. And usually Hannah, my daughter, comes in to do it. And she comes in the other room. She said, Dad, it just declined half the people. And it was because of zip code and address. When you have customers for years and years and it's all recurring and you get a new credit card, you don't ask people if they moved or anything like that. Oh, I didn't. Let's put it this way. And was never a problem. Turns out, no, we're checking all this. So I had to go ahead and update and call customers and ask them for their current address. And hopefully we'll fix it this week completely. But if you are, the whole thing about it here was, if you are using your credit card to do a recurring charge on anywhere, you need to update it and also think about if your address changed. And it's hard to remember about address change. It's even hard to remember that your credit card was changed until you get a notice, hey, your credit card didn't go through. But always update it, because otherwise you may have a problem and they'll have to take it later. And a lot of people that are keeping a budget want to know that on this date this goes out, and on that date that goes out, so they can manage their money. So interesting. All right. I guess Nick is going to stay on the phone there. And Steve, anything else you wanted to add?
No, I've got nothing, I'm afraid.
Nothing. Did you hear anything from Jorvik lately?
Yeah, I've spoke to him most days this week. He's been on Pal Talk having a yak.
Good. Say hi.
I will pass on.
All right. So thanks, Steve. And
Thank you.
Thanks, Nick. And Gal. And good morning, Kathy, Hannah, Nabil, Mac, Norm, Katie, and Donna. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. To Computers to Canal. We hope you enjoyed and maybe learned something from our time together. Remember to practice safe computing. Back up your hard drive. Update your virus scanner. We'll be back here next Sunday at 9. But you can always reach us at computers2know.com. While you're at it, like us on Facebook, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Tonight at 7, Nick is hosting Against the Norm. He just came in.
Sorry,
Nick,
I was on
Nick,
the phone.
That's all right. I'm closing the show.
Oh,
are you doing the show tonight?
Yeah, we got a good show tonight. I was off last week. Got a good show tonight. We'll talk about the hurricane. We'll talk about some of the censorship online.
Okay.
Plus all the Trump news of the week and all that other stuff.
All right. And again, thanks, Nick.
Thank
so
you,
Nick
Emma.
is hosting Against the Norm on Wilmington's Big Talker 106.7. You can always listen on TuneIn. See you, everybody.
You are tuned to the Nissan Communications Network. If you tuned in too late, you can always watch each program in its entirety or download an MP3 audio file of it in the archives section at nissancommunications.com. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on Twitter, and like us on Facebook. Sponsored by Telestream's Wirecast software, StreamingGear.com, Carolina Apparel, and DeltaForce.net.